All right. So, let's get started just for what the review project is. Now, I want to be perfectly clear. This does not need to be turned in. This is an effort to try to make sure that you guys get the practice that you need in understanding and identifying the body systems and how they interact with each other. I know Schoology isn't working right now, and I have a suggestion for everybody, and that is as soon as Schoology is working, go to tomorrow, download the practice test, download the answer sheet to the practice test. They're both already there for tomorrow, but in case Schoology is still just and not working, by all means, please get that stuff today because practicing that is going to be probably more important than practicing this project. And the reason I say that is it's a test. It's not the test that you're going to have on Friday, but the material doesn't change that much. The heart is still the pump. It still has a right atrium and a right ventricle and a left. You get the idea. Like that stuff still holds 100% true. So when you get the opportunity, I strongly suggest get that material to make sure that if Schoology does go down again tomorrow, that you still have access to it. Now, our project for today is to take something like this diagram. You can draw it yourself. You can print out a picture. You could set this up as a slideshow, as a single page. Literally, it's your review. So, however you feel best doing it. But the goal is to label out the different organs of the digestive system, which remember is going to be the mouth, the esophagus, the stomach, the small intestines, the large intestines, and then you should also be able to identify the pancreas and the liver, as those all contribute to the total. And then I'm going to ask you guys to draw a simplified circulatory system on the diagram. Make sure to include the heart. Make sure to include a couple of the arteries, a couple of the veins, and some of the capillaries. Draw where those capillaries are. And remember, when we're taking a look at something like that, you're going to have your heart. Where's my pen? All right, you're going to have your heart. Can I draw on this? No. No, I can't. One moment. Fine. I'll do this the old fashioned way. Now, are you guys. No, you're still seeing that. Let me change this. Oh, great. It does not have an option for me to capture. All right, well, whatever. I'll just have to do it this way. So, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to draw in the heart, kind of where you'd find it, which is somewhere in the chesty region here. Then the arteries. Remember, arteries are going to lead blood away from the heart, so some big tubes coming out of it. The capillaries are then going to deliver all of the blood to all of the organs. So down here around the stomach, the intestines, all that area is going to be really rich. Lots and lots of capillaries, just lines crossing them. And then veins that come back to the heart because that's the direction that they move blood. Then, what I'm going to ask you guys to do is include some white blood cells. Draw them in whichever body system they are going to be most accurate. Label where you would find them. You want to make sure that you know all three of the different types of white blood cells. We went over the macrophages, the T cells, and the B cells. Those are our three types. Make sure you know what the immune response is and you can describe it because the last part is that you eat food that is old and bad. It makes you sick because there's a whole bunch of bacteria on it. So now you need to do two things. First of all, I want you guys to trace the pathway of that food through the system and explain to me what's happening to that food at each of these different steps. As you hit these different organs, what's happening here? What's happening in the tube, the esophagus here? What about the small, the large intestines? But then I also want you to go through and explain the immune response that it's going to have to this bacterial pathogen that's coming into the system and causing trouble. So if you can do all of that, then you're going to have 90% of the basics that you need for the test that's coming up on Friday. It's pretty straightforward. It's something a little bit different than just a worksheet. Tomorrow I have an actual practice test. It's my old paper test. It's the one that we would normally do Friday, but since we're in this format, obviously there's no button that turns it into an interactive online test. So instead, we'll just use it as like a guide, as practice. I have an answer sheet on Schoology for it as well. So you can go through, you can write down your answers, and then you can check it to see, are you getting those key points? And that should give you a decent prep. Like I said, for Friday, the questions don't change that much. Doesn't matter how many times I ask it. If I ask you a question about which of the following is not part of the immune system, well, I mean, the same things always are part, so you just look for the one that isn't. So that's our project for today. Just quick, easy to review. Now, it is important to note, we do need to talk about spring break. I don't know if you've seen the front page for the Norwich website, but Governor Cuomo has stated that instruction must continue. Effectively, all spring breaks for all of New York State, for all of our schools, have now been canceled. Since we're going to be home anyway, they have said that that week must maintain instruction. So, you will have work that week. Now, it is supposed to be a little bit less. It is supposed to be more flexible. More like on Monday something is assigned, it will be due on Friday. And then your teacher should be available a day or two during the week in order to meet with people, answer questions, stuff like that. For you guys, I'll tell you right now, we are going to be going into evolution as our next unit. Yes! I love evolution. It is my favorite unit. It is so much more interesting with so many new puzzles and stuff like that. Wonderful. So I'm going to have a series of videos for you guys to watch. And then I'm also going to have something else in the form of a relatively small evolution-y project thing. I haven't quite figured out exactly what I want to do yet, but I will. And I'll let you guys know. I will be continuing my streams next week on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday in case anybody has questions. I'm not going to be presenting new material on Wednesday or Friday, only on Monday to explain what your break project is. And beyond that, I'll just be around for Q&A in case anybody needs anything clarified. So, look forward to it. I think this is going to be really interesting. If the state does follow and we are off throughout the end of April, it means that we will also finish evolution uh, online. And then we're going to be going back into ecology the next time I see you folks in class. So, with that said, I hope everybody has a great day. You know what you got to do. Make sure to get that test off Schoology as soon as you can. Have a good day.